Hi, this is Dan Harris, and welcome to the Ironbird podcast. On today's podcast, it's all about building a technology platform. We have Adesh Desai and Deepak Sodhi, the Co-CTOs of Flyhouse. On today's session, we're going to dig into what it takes to building an app that's part of an aviation ecosystem, and really what they've been doing to lead the charge on change in private aviation from a technology standpoint. Thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
From your experience in building in the aviation space, what do you both think, and Adesh, I'll start with you, what do you think is some of the more complex things to move from what maybe people are doing manually to maybe automating or in a digital space?
Well, the first automation, for an industry that is as advanced as aviation, planes are some of the most complex machines ever built by mankind. The services software side of things is quite archaic.
Yeah.
So credibility, ironically, was one of the most important things that we have to bring in. Whatever software that we provide to the consumers, to the back-end providers like operators or maintenance people or anything, had to be credible.
Yeah.
Particularly on the consumer side, people booking private flights are used to picking up the phone, calling someone, waiting 2 days, at least a day to get a quote, mulling over the quotes and things like that. When we first started the app, or first iteration of the app, we gave a quote in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Today is 30 seconds and getting faster.
Do you think you're going to get to a point where it's instant? Someone searches, they get pricing back instantly from airplanes?
Yeah. Ironically, for Flyhouse as a company, the generation of a quote is quite simple.
Yeah.
We pick planes, we run them through our quoting engine, some AI, some whatever it is that we do, the back end of proprietary, of course, and we generate a quote. Most of the time is spent in selecting the planes, because our quantum of planes is growing. So we started with, 100 planes. Now we have a heck of a lot more than that, multiples of that.
Yeah.
So it will never go to instant, but it'll get close enough to like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Getting airplanes on the platform. And for me, when I was on the other side, there was always a new platform that was pitching me, hey, come onto this platform. But what we found was the having to double input data, update our airplanes ourselves, go on the platform to then provide quotes. What do you think the Flyhouse platform is doing to make that connection between app and operator easier?
Wow. You have a lot of experience in this field, because you brought up the one thing that I hear constantly in onboarding software providers who provide like FMS software to operators and the operators themselves. And the common complaint is this, that we have tried this before, and most people who came to us asking for integration, coordination, cooperation were primarily fly-by-night operators, came in, jazzed us for a couple of months and then vanished away, and we did all this work and got nowhere.
Yeah.
So how do you think, and it took a while. It took a long time for people to actually believe us. I won't mention names, but you can pick around the show a whole bunch of FMS providers here. Some of them too.
Now with the bigger marketing budget, are you having those conversations are much easier? They're seeing Flyhouse in the NFL games, on college football games. Is that a little bit easier to have those conversations?
It does show that we have budget, but it also, the team has worked incredibly hard. I'm not talking the technology team at all. I'm talking the business team from our PCG side, our partner relationship side, as well as our CEO, and they have worked incredibly hard to provide the tech team the credibility that we need to go and talk to them. But of course.
Yeah, he mentioned helps. We started with about 100 planes. Today we have about over 100 partners.
Yeah.
So, you can see what happened there. So,
Deepak, what do you think is the hardest part of trying to give technology to an industry or a partner that might not be very interested in new pieces of technology and just wants to do it the way they've done it for the last 20 years?
That's a challenge not just in this industry, it's a challenge in all industries that are, like Adesh mentioned, the planes themselves are so advanced, but the servicing part of that, especially in the private aviation, it's even though there are so many apps out there available, everything is done on spreadsheets, it's done on phone calls, you get a quote, which may not end up being the quote that is there. I think it's the forcing the change, because we've been now working with Flyhouse for a few years. What I've seen is when we discuss with the team members who are used to how things used to work and trying to make them change that, hey, no, this is the new way of thinking, and they fight back saying that, no, this is how it's done. But our goal is that we want to change. We don't want to follow what's being done. We are trying to disrupt it. We are trying to put in the new way of doing things, which is more automated, that's how you get the faster quotes. I mean, you give a quote to a customer within 30 seconds and you stick by it, There's no such thing as going back and forth and changing things and stuff like that.
This episode is brought to you by Charter Flight Support, the only coverage in private aviation that protects you when an aircraft mechanical issue stops your aircraft from flying. CFS not only provides financial support if the replacement aircraft costs more, they also help locate and book quality backup aircraft fast. Learn more at charterflightsupport.com, and don't forget to sign up for their newsletter, The Fix, for real-time insights on private jet trends, aircraft types, and rates.
Adoption's difficult for those people that maybe not as technologically advanced. What do you do to make adoption easier for these companies?
Well, the one thing that we have done, Flyhouse has, and kudos to our management and executive team, we have stuck by our mistakes. We made few. In 3 years, we didn't always get every quote right. You can't. I mean, as you develop technology, you develop intelligence. You just can't. And whenever we made mistakes, we stuck by our quote. That helped immensely. So that's one thing that has helped us.
When you're building the app, you technically have two customers, right? You've got the front end customer that is going to book and fly on the airplane, but you also have the back end customer, the operator that's going to supply it. How do you balance building that for each person?
There's a third customer there also. It's the owner.
The airplane owner, So how do you juggle balance? Because what may be good for one may not be perfect for the other. How do you build that?
We started. We built a simple enough app, or we kept it simple enough that to the end customer, like you said, who's not necessarily, I wouldn't say tech savvy, but who's not used to using technology to book a private aviation flight, now can. We kept that simple.
Yep.
However, on the other end, we made it extremely complex because complexity is desired there. No one sees that. It's handled by a software, but that software is very complex. Getting the pricing right, getting the schedules right, onboarding the partners, having their compliance documents in place, notifying them of their compliance document expiration. We have tried to automate and continue to try to automate as much as we can. Automate not in the sense that, how shall I say, not necessarily, I wouldn't use the word automate, but intimate. So notifications, it's like, hey, your maintenance agreement is due.
Yeah.
Can you please go ahead and sign up?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
This episode is brought to you by Video Valet. If you care about having the best in-flight experience on your private flights, Video Valet offers up to 1.2 million movies, shows, magazines, and newspapers, all available on board without the need of expensive Wi-Fi or hardware. Eric and his team at Video Valet deliver fully customized iPads to ensure that your preferences are met on every single flight. Whether providing my kids with their favorite shows or allowing me and my wife to catch up on breaking news, I personally could never travel without it again. Video Valet is offering a special promotion to Ironbird podcast listeners. Mention Ironbird, and Video Valet will add one free fully personalized iPad at no additional cost. Now, to the Ironbird podcast.
What do you think from the airplane operator side? How have they changed? How's their usage changed from a year or two ago to now? And where do you think it's going to be in a year from now?
We have come I remember the Virginia Slims ad. You come a long way, baby. We have. We started where we provided the operators a mechanism by which they could exchange information with us. Not necessarily very elegant, not necessarily very automated, but it was there. Since then, we have moved to a point where they don't have to do as much disruption to their daily line of work in order to comply, in order to
transact with someone on the
combine
platform.
with Flyhouse. And hoping with technology to actually eliminate that entirely, where two systems can communicate in unison without requiring any manual input, even howsoever little we have today.
So it's a passenger puts their passenger details in the app. At some point, that pushes directly into the scheduling software of the airplane operator, right?
Yes.
What are the biggest struggles or roadblocks from doing that?
The struggles mostly is trying to find or get the updated information for the plane, their calendar information as to when it's available, when it's not available, to have the partners keep that updated, because if they show a plane being available and we use it for a quote and give
Push
a quote
a booking
to
and that's not open.
And if they haven't updated their calendar, then that's the biggest challenge. And we are trying various things there using technology, automation, AI bits to try and improve that.
Yeah.
So
On the other end, to complete the entire loop, from request to getting it into the Flyhouse system, quoting it, customer accepting the quote, and then taking that, basically let that trip get into the operator side of things. It is integrations with different FMS systems. We are in process of it. I would say in a year or so, maybe 18 months, we would have finished all the major ones anyway. And that would be good for the operator, good for us. I mean, that's a roadmap anyway.
How do you think an operator gets to a point where they can automate their pricing to push into the app?
We have that today.
And what are the people that are doing that? How do they have that set up that it's automated for them?
Okay, so at a very, very, very low level of granularity, an operator can define different constraints on plane pricing. Every plane level different. We have multiple
and hourly rates,
repositioning
overnight
rates.
costs.
How much time you want the plane
and
to
they,
fly.
How granular can
they
someone
can
get
define
in?
The low rate they want to accept and a high rate they want to accept, because behind our engine, the cost engine, there is actually an auction running. So we start with the high level, and if we see someone else comes at a lower, we provide the next level. So there's a lot of stuff going on back and forth. There's an automated auction happening between the planes that qualify for that trip, and the price goes down that way until you come to a point. We don't give the lowest price, we try to keep the price as high as possible.
Yeah, how often do you think airplanes getting the high price versus low price?
Almost never. Because
they're never getting what they're.
It almost never lands up at the highest price. Almost, in very rare conditions will it land up at the lowest price.
Yeah.
Of course, the operator is protected because it'll go no lower than their lowest acceptable.
Yeah.
But it's as a typical auction would be, if there are all the planes available for a given auction, then you'll reach the bottom.
Yeah.
That's math.
Yeah.
But almost all planes are never available, right? Planes are always flying. So you'll land up somewhere in the middle, which is a fair outcome to pretty much everyone, right? To the consumer as well as to the operator. To expand upon the granularity, we have immense granularity. We have things like, I won't give out all the secret sauce, but things like, how much money do you want to charge if the plane stays on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
How often, what is the minimum flight time you will take? So if your plane doesn't fly for a day, how much money you want, or how many hours you want to bill?
Can we even charge different prices, hour 1, hour 2, hour 3 while in the air?
No,
so if
we
we said,
don't.
okay. Because that's one thing. It's as your airplane's flying, it's more efficient. The more time it spends, we're going to put that on the roadmap. How are you guys deciding what to put in your roadmap, what to put in your sprints? Is that a feedback loop? Like, how are you guys deciding what to do as you continue to develop the app?
It's certainly, well, the way we decide is from in technology, it's executive direction, clearly. But big part of it, actually even more so, the bigger part of it is the feedback loop. Feedback loop from our own internal teams, our private charter group team. You know, what do they need to sell flights? How do they price flights? They are constantly, they see every request that goes in through the app. So they are constantly monitoring the pricing to make sure that the pricing is right or wrong. They actually themselves run sprints every now and then to just run through the app and make sure the pricing is right.
What can operators get access to data that can help them price better to know what they win or what they lose?
Yeah, immense amounts.
There's a whole platform going to be released soon where the operator can actually see the flights that they lost and why they lost it, and they can adjust their pricing based on that, and they can actually play in real time saying that, hey, if I had instead of my price being, for example, $10,000 an hour, if I had made it 8,000, how many more flights would I have actually won that they had happened to lose?
Yeah.
So they can actually do that kind of like a slide rule kind of, simulation, so to speak, to see how they can increase their revenue by adjusting pricing.
If there were operators that were hesitant to join the app, they don't want to join there's another app where I have to rebuild my pricing and I have to log in to go quote again. What would you tell them would be maybe different about the Flyhouse app and why you would join it?
I would, I do actually, I point them out to the 102 operators that we have onboarded. And people believe we have gained credibility now. So we show them how easy it is, how safe it is. I mean, most importantly, it's like operators want to make sure that, just because I am on the platform, somebody else on the platform, he doesn't get to see mine, I don't, that kind of thing. Like any data that they provide us is so minimal that, and any data that we provide them is also completely anonymous.
Yeah.
So they see a price for a mid-jet at like $8,000 an hour. Let's say it was a winning price. They don't know whose it was. They don't know anything else other than that rate. So yeah.
The other thing how we differentiate is from other, so to speak, operators, the app, how it's different is that we only send them qualified requests, which means we've already accepted a deposit on that flight of theirs before they even know about it. So it's not like somebody asked me for a flight, I called 10 operators and they have these flights. They only come to know once we have accepted deposit. So it's a confirmed flight pretty much. So
we're sitting here the same time next year. What do you think the app and experience will look like?
We are going to have a bunch of AI integrated from a front-end standpoint, where we are hoping to have a free-flow request coming in from the users that I want to fly from here to Miami on so-and-so date, like more of a conversational type of request. So that's one thing. Whether it's in the app or through another widget, we don't know. We're still working out the details, but that's definitely one of the things that will be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Back end.
And the back end, a lot more easier.
A lot of changes.
Make it everything easier for the operators to transact.
Yeah, and provide them a platform to actually not just bid on their own planes, but to bid on the planes that we have on our platform.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having this conversation and looking at this app and where it's come, looking back to say, all right, here's what we thought it would be, because I know things can change very quickly. So I'm looking forward to that. Deepak, Adesh, thanks so much for having.
Thank you.
For coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.